Dozed off, but I'm here and I'm ready.
Ready for what?
Our trial. You and me, the dream team.
This is an ABC News special report. Now reporting from ABC News World Headquarters in New York, Catherine Crier.
Rescue efforts certainly continue in Oklahoma City regarding the car bombing that took place yesterday. Apparently 38 have been confirmed dead in that explosion. As of now, of course, they expect those figures to go higher, but the focus today has been on the investigation, has been on the search for suspects, the search for witnesses in this case. ABC's Jack McWethy is standing by at the State Department with news on the investigation. Jack?
Well, there are several aspects to it. First of all, it is expected later this afternoon that the FBI is going to release a composite drawing of their lead suspect. We know that that composite drawing will probably show a white male. Other than that, we have no details. Of all great interest later this afternoon, the British government has said that they are sending back to the United States someone that the U.S. Justice Department has requested they detain. And the way this man's story goes is as follows. He left Oklahoma City yesterday on a flight to Chicago, and he was detained in Chicago by customs officials and questioned, we are told. He was questioned for such a long time that he was not able to make his flight, which was to go to Rome. His bag, however, did go to Rome. Officials felt they did not have enough information at that time, and they allowed the man to go ahead and take the next flight, which was to Heathrow in Great Britain. At that point, by the time he landed in London, American officials believed they had additional information that made them want to talk to this individual. Now, Justice Department officials are saying at this point they do not believe this is a suspect, but they believe it is a person who was there at the time of the bombing and has enough suspicious aspects about his particular story and information that apparently was found on his belongings to warrant to bring him back to the United States. So the United States has requested that he be returned, and he is on his way to the U.S. at this moment.
Jack, apparently there's conflicting reports. He may be going to Chicago. He may be going to Washington. Do you have any information about his whereabouts and his destination?
We believe at this point he is headed to Washington.
All right, Jack McWethy, thanks very much. Let's go now to Jim Laurie, who's standing by in London. Jim, we heard from the Prime Minister, John Major, this morning. He said, as events will show, we are assisting. What sort of information are you hearing about the work that the British are putting into this effort?
Well, apparently the British and the Americans are working very closely, particularly in terms of the person who, as Jack McWethy has reported, is wanted for questioning in this case. Sources here in London say that after the man, and we have no details on his identity, was refused entry to Britain, he was put aboard a commercial airliner believed to be a British Airways flight to Washington, D.C. under escort, we are told, and he will arrive in Washington early this evening, East Coast time. Beyond that, British immigration officials are saying nothing. A source simply said that he fits the profile of a suspect in the Oklahoma City bombing. The use of the word suspect is that of the British Home Office. So again, our understanding here in London is that this man wanted for questioning is en route, as we speak, headed for Washington, D.C.
All right, Jim Laurie, thanks very much. Let's check in now with Tim O'Brien, who's standing by at the Justice Department. Tim, they're being very careful to use the word suspect versus witness. We're not hearing that any actual suspects have been targeted, certainly not named yet. What is the Justice Department's position on this right now?
The Justice Department emphasizes that no suspects are in custody, that this man in Heathrow, they don't even identify him as a witness, only a possible witness. Could he become more than a possible witness in the next few days? The answer we get back is, don't put all your eggs in one basket, that this investigation is proceeding on several different fronts simultaneously. We've also been led to believe that fragments from a car in which the explosive may have been placed have been located, and that has helped the Justice Department find out where the car was rented from, in what city the car was rented. There was a report earlier that the car was rented in Dallas. We're being steered away from that. And most intriguing of all, Justice Department officials tell us that this story is developing at a rather quick rate, and that we should all pay attention at 4 o'clock to developments in Oklahoma City where further details will be made known.
Tim O'Brien, thanks very much. And Julie Johnson is standing by in the ABC Washington Bureau. Julie, I understand you have been in contact with someone at the Justice Department. What are you hearing?
Yes, I can't underscore enough what Tim said in terms of how fast-moving this investigation is going. I talked to a senior Justice Department official who said that they have now got some very solid leads, and they're expecting developments as soon as this afternoon. And in addition, this official told me that the Justice Department has been on a state of alert as far as terrorism is concerned. They do identify this person as a possible witness, and I was told that this person is en route, and I was told by other sources that it could be Chicago, not Washington, D.C., as has also been reported elsewhere. But they anticipate that this will be developments we will see news on in the next coming hours.
All right, Julie Johnson, thanks very much. We have some pictures to show you of apparently car parts that were found around the location of the car bombing there in Oklahoma City at the Federal Building yesterday. These, of course, may or may not be parts of the vehicle that was used in the car bombing. But, of course, developments are occurring quite rapidly. As you heard, at 4 o'clock, the FBI is expected to release a composite sketch of an individual that they're certainly taking a hard look at. Again, these events are unfolding very rapidly, and ABC will keep you abreast of the investigation as we receive information.
This has been a special report from ABC News.
She's near the end of a road that's...
This is an ABC News special report. Now reporting from ABC News World Headquarters in New York, Peter Jennings.
Just a very brief interruption to keep you abreast of the investigation in Oklahoma City, both at the bomb site itself and in terms of the search for the bombers. The British Home Office a short while ago, which is the Interior Minister in Britain, has issued a statement which says basically the following. It's short, I'll read it. A possible suspect connected with the Oklahoma bomb has been returned to the United States by the United Kingdom Immigration Service. The man was identified by immigration staff at Heathrow Airport in London this morning. He arrived on a flight from Chicago, carried a United States passport. He was interviewed, refused entry to the UN, or refused entry to the UK, detained, and returned to the United States this afternoon. ABC's Jim Laurie reported from London a short while ago. We know no more about him than that. Jim Laurie did report that the British Prime Minister in the House of Commons referred obliquely to this by saying that the British had been cooperating with the United States. That is all we know. And a short while ago, President Clinton had something to say about the investigation. Among other things, he said, don't jump to conclusions about the ethnic group or the religion of the people involved, and do not fall prey to stereotypes that we may have of terrorists. And here's the rest of his comments.
I was briefed last night at midnight. I was briefed this morning early in the morning. I know what the status of our efforts are. They are intense and they are comprehensive. But I do not believe we should be commenting on an ongoing investigation. And at the appropriate time, the Justice Department will say whatever it is that should be said. I can tell the American people they would be very proud of the efforts which have been made in this area since it occurred yesterday morning. They have been awesome, intense, comprehensive, and dogged. But I will not comment on the specific aspects of the investigation until the Justice Department determines it's appropriate to do.
If you have been with us this morning, you know that the FBI spokesman said in Oklahoma City earlier today they have hundreds of leads all across the political spectrum, as he put it, from left to right. The leads mean there have been a lot of phone calls and a lot of tips, but there is no hard evidence. He said nobody had picked up this report of someone being picked up and described by the British as a possible suspect. Is the first indication we know of an individual involved. We know nothing more about him than that. There has been, once again, the copycat effect of this bombing. There was a bomb threat in the Boston subway. The subway was evacuated but is now running again. And in Oklahoma City itself, there is no change in the situation whatsoever. The search continues. 36, no one dead that we know. Others dead, but not yet extricated from the damage of the Treasury building. More than 400 people have been injured. We'll keep you on top of the story as best we can. I'm Peter Jennings in New York.
This has been a special report from ABC News.
This is ABC.